What's up guys, it's Talon here, and in today's video we have another viewer VOD review in store. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mark's Trio and how they performed in bragging rights, and I'm going to be going over what I thought they did well and what I think they need to work on. But before I get into this viewer VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. Also, if you wish to support me in another way, use code Talon.fn in the Fortnite item shop, #ad. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see, we have Mark's Trio POV. This is going to be a 20 plus kill victory royale in this tournament. We're going to be taking a look at Xylo's POV. He's going to get things started off with a nice little 1v1 win elimination. This is very huge. You got to win your ones and trios. It skips through, and then everyone kind of funnels to him, which is good. Now, Mark's POV throughout this entire VOD is scuffed, so we're going to be staying on Ryu and Xylo. You're going to see him here, kind of just sit here, wait. And now what's going to end up happening is Xylo's going to heal up, get his finish. They're going to shake down, but things kind of get a little bit dicey. I believe Xylo's going to make a solo play on his own and get taken out, but a good job of his teammates funneling to him right here. There's going to be a common theme of this VOD review. One big mistake is a lot of solo fighting. Now this guy, advantage, he sees some white tags now, trying to, and then his opponent basically won, and notice how his teammates are still here in the building, but they don't really fight with him. He ends up getting picked off, but they do a good job of at least funneling to him and holding. Now this is very good right here. One hold, one res. We'll skip through this portion here because it's still an off-spawn fight. Now, we're going to see... we're going to switch to Ryu's POV. He's going to get a couple frags right here. Giving him time to heal. They go. Now, there's an insane amount of people here. I believe there's two other trios. He gets up here quickly. I don't know why the audio's like that, but... Now, we go right here. We notice that there's a one down and a trio here. We don't have a lot of builds. I think we run out of mats right here. We end up taking out the downed opponent. Now, it's very, very risky. A much better trio is going to be aware of that. You don't want to solo open on a trio. Solo opening on a trio is very, very costly most of the time. But because the opponent was down, he did get a good job getting the finish at least. Now, no mats here. You want to play incredibly tight. And you're going to see him again. No mats. Kind of shambles. I think... right here, gets some nice piece control right here. Drops there, drops it for an SMG. I believe he's going to get a good finish right here. Gets a finish. Mark gets a kill as well. His POV is kind of scuffed throughout. Let's kind of fast forward in the next engagement here because things get a little bit crazy in mid-game. For some reason, when I was trying to view Mark's POV, he was just running infinitely in a bush. I don't understand why, but... Now, you see this big battle up here. They approach this very well. This trio approaches it very well. Now, Rio's going to eventually make, again, another solo overcommit. But this is going to be fine right here. I like how they set this up. So you have Rio right here, and then you're going to look at Xylo over here, kind of on a boat, a little bit behind, but he can get there quickly. They set up this wide, kind of like casting net is a good way. Like, everyone is over here, and then they just kind of just form and kind of condense everything. Rio's going to do a good job right here of picking up just kind of, he finds a solo here on low. I'm going to fast forward to that portion. He finds a solo here on low. Does a good job of shooting him down. Going to spray through. Gets the wall right there. It was invisible. Gets the finish right here. Now this opponent just runs at him. Gets a nice quick two kills. Mark also picked up kill in the feed. Another kill. Playing well as a solo, but not a crazy amount of team fighting. Let's see where Xylo is right here. Xylo's up on height, which is not a bad thing, but I believe Rio is going to get taken out right here. Pretty soon. Maybe not right here. And then he opens up onto two people as a solo. And again, like I said, playing that over-aggressive portion, but Xylo at least has top control to basically trade. Gets a finish. Now, Mark, I believe, is going to actually get the pick up. Xylo's going to do a good job of just staying up here in this engagement. Fortunately, like I said, I'm going to show you when you go to Mark, he is running in a bush infinitely. I don't know why, but he's actually rezzing. So just disregard that. They do a good job of getting res. Look, I love this. They get back to the team, make sure everyone's up, doing healthy. Now solo opening, tries to get a good attempt at piece control, doesn't get it. Just play slow, wait till your teammate gets healthy. Good attempt right there. Now Ryo's full HP, now you can play a little bit more aggressive. And then he's going to go up, and they're going to isolate the solo. Boom, they kind of pinch him right there. Really good job. Like I said, we don't know. Mark's just running infinitely in a bush for some reason in the replay mode, so can't look at his POV. So it's really going to be focused on these two individual players. Now you're going to see Xylo comes up a little bit ahead. Now they're going to set up a very nice pinch right here. So Xylus gets to the back of this, and you're going to see Rio come in, and they're going to pinch this opponent beautifully. You see this old tart? Gets it right there. Right there. They have him pinched. This opponent has nowhere to go. Using the double shotgun meta, you really don't see that much. This opponent's actually invisible. There was two opponents, so they have a nice, beautiful little pinch. Rio is then going to come in and clean up the last opponent. I know some of it's individual. Mark is still alive during this, remember. Let's fast forward here. Next portion. They're getting shot at from on top. Rio's going to kind of lead the push right here. Kind of goes through a little bit. Going to get his heals off first. Xylo's going to go up. Nice. They get a pinch an opponent right there. Gets another knockdown on an invisible opponent. I don't know what killed him there, but he gets knocked with some sort of rocket of some kind, I guess. Pops Slurpfish real quickly. Xylo's going to get finished here. I think he got RPG'd, I'm not sure. This is an older VOD. And like I said, the opponent's invisible because replay mode is absolutely horrendous. Now Ryo's going to do a good job. Ryu's going to do a good job of getting the reses here. We'll just kind of fast forward here. They hop in a car and they continue their keying. But kind of you see these opponents up here? There we go, now we have the sound correctly. So you see this person building a wood. Now, knowing that person's up on high ground, I would have gotten on the car a lot sooner. Mark is actually, POV is working. A nice little pickup from Ryu right here. Just take a look at it. See what he does to get that knock right there. Gonna hop in, isolate the solo. It's kind of barrel stuffing. Actually, I believe Mark is the one that gets the pickup, but his POV is a little bit scuffed. I have a lot of eliminations, 16 already, continue the W key. Kind of fast forward through. Get some important tags down low. Let's take a look at Xylo's POV here. They see this person on low ground hiding behind the tree, maybe the last remnant of that trio. Mark finds him, hits him for a little bit. Opponent tries to box up, and then they just pinch him right here. Just pinch him. Xylo misses some shots, loses a little bit of HP, but a good pinch nonetheless. You heal up, you're healthy. Go to the last portion here. Take a look at Ryo's POV. They're chasing this one opponent. Get front wall on him. Very, very, very nice. A little bit just more solo fighting right there, but that's okay. Not the best players. You want to play a little bit more coordinated. We'll take a look at some of their other games from this tournament, see maybe where things went wrong. Some good pre-fight damage. Now this end portion. So everyone in the lobby is pretty much in front of him. He's getting a ton of pre-fight damage. Doing a good job of getting damage. I don't even know where Mark is. Now he's out in the open spraying. It's just not ideal. That's going to get him in trouble a little bit right there. Now Xylo is going to go play super duper aggressive as a solo again. Just basically 50-50 in the box. He gets that elimination. He's stuck in a lot of old builds. Tries to go up. There's a lot of angles to block off. Looks like now you're going to see him get fried, and then we're going to see the problem right here. He gets the cone off, but doesn't place front wall for protection. The opponent's actually ready for it. He gets killed. Rio somehow actually ends up surviving this. A good pickup. I can't even know it was from Mark or Xylo. But they're going to actually end up doing a great job of getting him up. But again, another aggressive solo play. And that's just not fighting, coordinating as a team. It's basically just turning trios into 1v1s. Which off spawn is much more important, but you want more coordinated team fights. You want to be much closer to your teammates. But you are WKing pretty well. That's also part of the nature, right? You're pretty confident when your trio has 24 kills. So you're going to play a little bit more aggressive. Now Xylo makes a high play right here. You see him go right here. He gets fried to his back, now covering his back. So he gets a little bit scuffed. Take Ario's POV. He gets killed by someone else. No, Mark actually ends up killing him, but we don't see how, because again, the POV is a little bit scuffed. I believe Xylo is gonna... It's the last trio, I believe. It's a 3v3. Can't tell because it's... Yep, it's 3v2 actually. Xylo cranks up to height. Not covering his head a lot right there. See a little bit late covering his head. It's some important tags. Rio's going to do a good job of using that, I believe, to pick off this opponent. Good cone right there. Now yeah, he edits him down right here. Now Xylo's going to get taken out here. Boom, good job right there. Yeah, pushing up to height with 100 HP could have also popped mini, just solo play. But it's a 2v1, so you're not too concerned. We're going to go to Rio's POV. Now he has front wall control. Gets a bunch of cracks, and then finishes them off for the 20 kill elimination. Not much to say. Can't analyze the best of ability. I liked how they set up some fights. Just a little bit over aggression at times. A lot of just big, what I like to call it, like, just basically playing as a solo. And just pushing some certain fights. It costs, early on it costs Xylo, and then later on it costs Rio a little bit. Just making the solo plays, and I know it's just fighting, but there was some good examples of team coordination. The mid-game fights around Risky were really good, but towards that end game and early game, the fights were a little just kind of overstretching as a solo. So one thing I think this trio just needs to work on is just continuing to coordinate fights and play a little bit more of that play style where they just they set that way up in Risky, but then Rio then opened up on the duo. But because his teammate had already established high ground, he's able to get picked back up. Just make sure, one thing also, so just for Rio in particular, if you see two people on your wall or whatever you're editing on, it's really not the best because, again, it's just two guns v1, and you're more than likely not going to win that. You need to make sure you're taking a really safe peek. I saw it a couple times. You edited on at least a duo or a trio. So just make sure, wait for your teammates to get there if you can, and that's part of the coordinating fighting. At least makes the gunfights a little bit easier. One can edit, then one can shoot, and it's a little bit better. And if you edit properly with good movement, you won't take return damage. But let's hop into the next game. Alright, we are in game number 2. This is going to be a 10 kill, I believe, third place. There's a lot of mistakes towards the end of this game that we're going to go over. This is going to be hopefully very beneficial to this trio to hopefully help them improve in endgame because it definitely needed a lot of work based off this gameplay. But we're going to fast forward here to this situation here off spawn. Now Rio is going to basically 1v3 off spawn, which is a little bit different than solo fighting, right? This is off spawn. There's not a lot of builds. It's all about who can hit their shots. Getting opponents down to get mats is the best way to get quick mats off spawn. Rio is going to basically be fighting a trio that doesn't understand how to play Slurpee. You don't want to contest one side. If there's two trios, you want to land one side main, one side backside, so you can at least fight with even amounts of loot and shield. But fortunately for them, this trio contests, doesn't get a lot of shield or loot, and Rio's going to get a very easy 1v3. Catches this opponent not really paying attention, gets a finish here. You're going to get the finish right now. That's going to give him, I would prioritize getting that finish so you can get some mats to play with. Mark's going to 50-50 this particular opponent and then unfortunately get taken out, but Rio's going to clutch up, end up easily getting that, and they get a free 3 kills off spawn. This is giving good confidence going throughout. Now, I don't believe there isn't... Oops, I hit the wrong button. I don't believe there isn't an engagement really until you get to this portion. Now, again, because replay is horrendous, there's a lot of replay bugs. Let's go to this mid-game area. We don't really get to see what ends up happening too much. They end up getting into this engagement towards mid-side. And I believe the opponents are invisible. They end up playing it pretty slow and methodical. Xylo's right in front. Ryu's kind of sitting back. They kind of play this slowly. I don't know if there's a full 3v3. Mark is going to get cracked. Xylo's going to get cracked. It was a good job of playing defensive. Now, Dever, again, same thing with Ryo. It's a one big constant thing. There's 2 people on the wall. Don't make any edits. That's 1 spray through away from being dead. Xylo's making the correct decision, building bats and creating space. Especially with one of your trio mates pretty much cracked, Mark being at 100 HP. I don't know if someone else... Yeah, Xylo ends up winning that. Very nice. Reads the breakthrough, gets the finish. And now it's a 2v3. You can afford to play slow. Same exact thing. Quit making edits on when there's multiple people pressuring, because you never know. You get one pressure, they take the wall. You want to play from a different end, especially when it's front on. It's a little bit different if you're holding it right hand peek or something, but when it's front on, at least. But this time, this is much better fighting coordination, I will say, in this particular fight. Now that's different. Now it's a 2v1. I don't mind. One can edit, one can shoot. But unfortunately, I believe Mark gets cracked again. And things get a little bit wonky. Fast forward to him healing. Mark's going to get, I believe, a pickup here pretty soon. Xylo heals up. He gets a refresh of all the mats. It's a better weapon. Now, probably should take shield here. At this level of HP. I believe Mark's going to make a very nice play here. He's going to box this opponent up the staircase. But this is so much better fight coordination. This is box fights right here. This opponent is invisible, but he boxes him like a fish. Full max damages. Boom. Ends up winning the fight. Very good. And then look, he has teammates to back him up. This is much better fight coordination. Something that I would like to see in a little bit more in the first game to prevent those knocks. But this is very, very good. Now, I believe Xylo's going to pick up one more. Yeah, there's an issue in the replay bug. So Xylo's going to pick up one more. In the feed, we don't really get to see it. He wins. He wipes up the last trio. Now we're going to look at Mark's POV. Now this is the end game. This is kind of where, after 2 good impacts in mid, this is where things kind of begin to fall apart here. Now this isn't a stacked game. There's only 17. Now he sees this trio rotating up. Gets a fry onto 1. This is good triple spray coordination. You can see here all 3 guns right here. You get some tags. One of them actually already got knocked. What's going to end up happening is they're getting pushed by another team, essentially. I believe that's what it is. And they're just doing a good job of pressuring, avoiding. Now it looks like actually one gets taken out from the other trio. And then they just triple spray and eventually get it through. We're going to go over here as well. Mark is going to then get over here. They're also going to find a shambles player from the fight here eventually. You can hear the footsteps of him creeping around. Xylo finds him, sprays through Mark. This is just a good way to just get in, finish the fight. Boom. It's a GG's. Alright, now this is where everything starts to come undone. And it's 1 from a solo play, and 2, getting gifted zone and absolutely wasting it. So now there's this duo on high ground. One thing I'm already going to talk about is if you want to protect yourself, I don't have a problem with that, but don't use your hard mats. Right here, use your wood when you're trying to protect yourself. Look how much you're building, too. Building 2 layers. 1 will suffice. You just wasted probably about 300-ish. Look at that. Now you don't have... Look how much hard you only have left for brick. After just getting those refreshes. You could even go back and go get those mats if you did it earlier. But just use your wood. See, now you had to split your teammates' wood. You're down a lot of wood when you could just simply use your wood right there. and save your hard mats for endgame. Now 13. And this is where everything kind of starts to get undone. Your gifted zone here. You are most front side of zone. You shouldn't even be worried about height at this point. But what's going to end up happening, we're going to switch to Rio's POV. Rio is going to basically play as a solo right here, which we've seen him done a little bit throughout. Now this opponent, they're very, very well reinforced, and you have zone. And taking height in 5th is not all that great, usually in competitive modes, because you have to hold it to 9th. And not getting that many refreshes is really difficult. You see most height takes, and especially in this is lower tier lobbies, and height takes, it's a little bit better in higher tier lobbies because there's so many layers below. This is not the case. This is so heavily reinforced, there's no point looking for it. And this, your duo has been gifted zone. So what ends up happening is Rio's so focused on getting to height, I believe he gets headshot bowed instead of playing together. Also, as you're going to see here, with them being gifted zone, they don't really do anything with it. They kind of just sit here and wait towards the back. When you could play ahead and then go for a height play. But you're also, because... Now notice how now there's teams getting ahead of you. I don't know why I have it on 2 speed, I apologize. There's teams getting ahead of you, making all this congestion. Now you do a good job of sitting back, however, this would be okay if Xylo was just cranking to front side, which he's not. So now you're playing at the back of a tarp and back of congestion. What ends up happening though is you're going to do a good job of navigating all these old builds. But if you wanted high ground, what you could have done as a trio is played the most ahead, save all of your mats, and then make a height play when that other height has to go max pull. Also notice how you're separate tarping, I believe. Yeah, you're not even together. So it's not a good use of mats. But fortunately lower tier lobbies doesn't that important. Now they do a good job of getting back together. Boxing up on their... Notice that there's just different layers. This is burning through your mats. Because your 2 individuals are building instead of 1 team building. And there's going to be play. Now, they do a good job of pinching this guy right here. Xylo's on this front side, making things hell for this guy. This is a good impact. Now, you're gifted zone again. And you've just gotten refresh. You have 504 on mats on Mark, and Xylo has 78, so not as healthy. Now, you're gifted on front side. Just get ahead. But for some reason... Again, the same type of issue. This is basic endgame knowledge. You've got to play ahead here. You've gotten everything. Now, it's okay for one to sit back in the tarp, but one has to be moving forward. You're gifted front side zone. Great RNG on 5th and 6th. On 6th and 7th. And now you're sitting at the back of the tarp. When you could be playing ahead, cutting all these teams off. And there's nothing wrong with playing low ground at all. But going up in here, now Xylo is boxed up in wood. More mats wasted. Now this is a little bit better coordination. Creates a new box. And then notice again, not creating a solid tarp. Goods fry right there. Now right here, we get this opponent right here. We don't have the best zone. We're sitting here together here. Notice how we're just not moving or not being super active, and we're maybe look for an impact here. Now we notice this opponent, but look where Mark goes. I don't mind this play if Mark's with you, but Mark's not with him. So what ends up happening, there's an individual player you can't see. He makes an edit play, gets max damage pump. Mark is going to clean it up. But one, because it's at backside. One, you don't get on the mats, and you lost all the mats that Xylo had. And it's just too much inactivity and not getting ahead in these zones. It's going to really cost you here and make this just efficient, not using your mats efficiently. And you still have 500 wood to play with. I know you're in wood, but just getting ahead here will save you so much scuff. There's no reason with 50 builds to sit at the back here. There's no reason. If you're shambles on mats, this is a little bit understandable. You're trying to get people to develop real estate for you and congestion so you have some sort of coverage. But with 500 mats, now you're staying ahead. You're storm ticking. and you don't even cover off your left side where the opponent is, and you get Primal Shotgun, and you died with 50 plus, full max materials. So the end game was just overall not very good. One, looking for hype too early, a kind of solo play, not taking advantage of the excellent RNG you got with pulling both zones, and not coordinating both solo building. You want to make sure, if you watch the top teams in trios, you know there's usually a lead tarper, and if he gets cracked, they kind of take over, but usually they're all staying together in one tarp. You don't see them all solo tarping as individuals. So something definitely needs, endgame is a big thing that this trio definitely needs to work on. Coordination of fights was definitely better in the mid game than it was in the first game. The end game was just not solid. They played that game very well for about 5 zones. Then once it got to moving, very difficult. Didn't take advantage of the max pull zones. But that is going to do it for today's VOD review, guys. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.